Imagine you're just a normal citizen in Avignon in the 12th century when a random young boy comes to town and says that he needs to build a bridge. You kind of laugh at the notion that this little guy could accomplish something that massive, but he's determined and he starts. Then, miracles start occurring, one after another, until it is irrefutable that he truly was called to build that bridge. What else will this remarkable young man accomplish? Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Sanctified Podcast, the show where we explore the stories of various saints throughout history, learn about what they did, and how we came to recognize them as saints today. Today, we are going to explore the life of Saint Benezet, a young man who set out to do something others laughed at, but he knew to be right, and he proved it to everyone. Real quick, sorry if I miss any information on Saint Benezet. It's still a really busy time for me at work and with family. This whole month will be really, but I still wanted to share the story of this really cool saint that I found. So if I did miss anything, please let me know. I would love to be able to add to this episode in the future. All right, let's get to it. Saint Benezet, or Little Benedict, was born around the year 1163 in southeastern France. His family was by no means well off, quite the opposite really. He was just the child of a poor shepherding family, and he grew doing the same thing his parents did. He didn't receive a remarkable education. In fact, his education was essentially non-existent. However, he was a very pious and very intuitive young boy. One day, as a young man, he heard a voice during a solar eclipse. The voice told him that he should build a bridge over the river at Avignon. This particular spot was known to have very strong and fast currents. At first, he wasn't totally certain of what he heard, but he could feel in his soul that he was called to build that bridge, and he knew he had to do it. And around this time, right after receiving that message while figuring out what to do, he was told that his sheep would be watched by angels and kept safe. So, with that peace of mind, he set out. Benezet traveled to Avignon to talk to the bishop there and tell him exactly what happened during the eclipse. The bishop did not believe the young boy. Bridges at this time were something that only the wealthy provided. Usually they left behind a very sizable portion of their wealth that was designated in their wills to be used to build a bridge somewhere. It wasn't just something that people did, like the community built, or somebody was just like, I'm gonna build a bridge, like Benezet was doing. It was somebody who had a lot of money and wanted to be known for building a bridge. But Benezet was certain of what he was told to do during that eclipse. He didn't let the bishop discourage him from his duty. It is said that Benezet, as a young man, still considered a child by many, carried an enormous stone all by himself to set the foundation and begin building his bridge. This was a miracle in its own right. No one person should have ever been able to move that stone, but he carried it all on his own. And it actually wasn't that long until Benezet began to have a reputation grow, not just because of this one miracle or his commitment to building this bridge. Oh no. There were numerous witnesses to numerous miracles that Benezet performed. Some of the most famous miracles mirrored what was in the Bible. He gave sight to blind people. He helped disabled people walk again. He reopened deaf people's ears. So many people were just flabbergasted by what they saw. They knew that this guy is telling the truth. We need to help him. So, after these accounts started to spread, the bishop realized his mistake in dismissing the boy that he saw previously as an ambitious fool. He realized that there was something far more to this boy, something that even he couldn't have expected to witness. And so, the bishop and other authorities gave Benezet the power that he needed to supervise the construction of this bridge in 1177. All in all, there were 18 miracles that were said to occur at this time. That's right. All at the same time or close enough together that the records indicate that they're basically the same time. And then, for the next 7 years, Benezet oversaw the work to build the bridge. But then he passed away, unfortunately, at a very young age in 1184. He was just 21 years old. Sadly, it isn't really known how he died, whether it was an accident during construction, a sickness, a divine act because he had fulfilled his calling in getting the bridge built, or at least to a point where it's essentially finished, or anything else. It's anybody's guess as to what actually caused him to die. But when he died, most of the bridge was already finished, so they kept his body, and then, as they were finishing the bridge, they built a chapel, which they dedicated to St. Nicholas, and they put Benezet's body to rest in there. For the next 500 years, he laid there undisturbed, until a very powerful flood took away a portion of the bridge in 1669 and exposed his resting place. But get this, even after 500 years, Benezet's body looked like he was just taking a nap or something. It was totally undecayed. His eyes were still bright. His body just looked normal. It wasn't a 500-year-old skeleton like what you'd expect. It was just a person. He was clearly an incorruptible. And as such, his body was moved to a monastery for veneration. Also, just 5 years after he died, the Order of Bridge Brothers was founded, and he was declared their patron. But he wasn't actually canonized for a little while later. This group was a collection of very wealthy individuals, because again, only the wealthy could afford to build a bridge, and they would provide the resources that were needed to build bridges all around the region. Today, Benezet is the patron saint of Avignon, bachelors, and as you could probably guess, for bridge builders. His feast day is April 14th. He was canonized in the 13th century, so right in the middle of when he died to when he was rediscovered to be an incorruptible. He was reburied at the cathedral in Avignon, and then he was moved to the Celestine Church of St. Dieter. The bridge he oversaw has seen maintenance and repairs over the years, but it still stands and is a very beautiful bridge. It's actually a pretty popular pilgrimage site in the region. It's called Pont Saint Benezet. I can't even imagine all of the great things that Benezet would have accomplished, or how many more miracles he would have performed if he hadn't died at such a young age. It's pretty remarkable that he accomplished so much in such a short time. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. And if you have anything to add, also, please add it. And maybe I'll update this podcast in a few months. So, what are your thoughts on Saint Benezet? What about all the miracles that he performed? I hope you found his story interesting, and I look forward to learning your thoughts on Saint Benezet. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to support the channel, you can subscribe, download the episode, like, comment, share it with your friends, or send me a suggestion on a saint to check out by emailing me at thesanctifiedpodcast@proton.me. You can find the show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Podbean, and more. I try to upload once a week, every Thursday. Take care, and have a wonderful day.